Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, and in today's video, I bring you guys Week 13 quarterback rankings for fantasy football in 2020. Inside of this video, I'm going to be discussing my top 20 ranked quarterbacks for this week and talk about why I have them ranked in each individual spot. Now, before I get into it, I'd like to ask if that at any point inside this video that you guys end up enjoying, to please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship. And real quick, before we get even deeper into it, I'd like to give you guys a quick word from my friends and my sponsor over at OverlayDFS.com. OverlayDFS.com is my favorite way to play daily fantasy sports on the interwebs. They do have two options on their website, the progressive tournaments as well as the matchup shop. But my favorite place to make that young moolah, like my name was Lil Wayne, is on the matchup shop. It's pretty simple. Who scores more fantasy points? Some examples from Monday Night Football. Miles Sanders, -9 fantasy points, or Boston Scott, +9 fantasy points. DK Metcalf -0.5 a point, or Tyler Lockett +0.5 of a point. It is so simple. You can put up as much money as you want, and it is so easy to win. Anyone could do it. You guys do research all week long to win your fantasy football matchup, so why not win some extra cash on top of it on OverlayDFS.com. Again, make sure you guys check it out, OverlayDFS.com. And we are back. Let's get into it. Week 13 quarterback rankings. We begin with quarterbacks 1 through 10. Now, just so you guys know, I am assuming in these rankings that quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick is going to be starting for the Miami Dolphins and that Tua Tagovailoa is not going to be starting for the Dolphins. Now, obviously, if something changes in that category and Tua ends up playing, then obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick gets moved out of the rankings and Tua is much lower down in my opinion, but we will be talking about that a little bit later because he is not a top 10 ranked quarterback this week. For me, Ryan Fitzpatrick, that is. Coming in at number 1 for the week, we have Patrick Mahomes going up against the Denver Broncos. Now, to me, the top 4-ish guys could all be the number 1 quarterback, in my opinion, on this week. I feel like Patrick Mahomes' matchup up against the Denver Broncos is very juicy, but we saw the first time these two teams played this year, Patrick Mahomes didn't really do all that much. It was the game where it was snowing in Denver, and the defense got a pick six. Byron Pringle, I believe, returned a kickoff for a touchdown, so it was a nice smacking of the Denver Broncos, but it wasn't really at the hands of Patrick Mahomes. But I expect this game to look a bit different, where Pat Mahomes is airing the ball out and dropping dimes all over the Denver Broncos' ass. And number 2, we have Russell Wilson versus the New York Football Giants. Now, Russell Wilson has definitely had games where he's super hot and games where he's not as hot. He's kind of cold. He throws like 1 touchdown. They run in a couple touchdowns. So that's just how the game ends. But on a weekly basis, you're just going to have to assume that Russell Wilson is going to be one of the top quarterbacks on the week. You just frankly have to, due to the weapons he has around him, and due to the fact that in a lot of these games, this man is going to be cooking it up like Steph fucking Curry in the kitchen. So I think Russell Wilson is going to be able to have a big game here up against the New York Football Giants. The Giants may be able to slowly claw their way into this game, which will result in more points from Russell Wilson. As long as Colt McCoy doesn't look completely awful, I'm going to go ahead and assume that Danny Dimes does not end up suiting up on Sunday. At number 3, we have Aaron Rodgers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Russell Wilson looked pretty good up against the Philadelphia Eagles last week, and I just feel like Darius Slay is not going to be able to lock down Devontae Adams, which will obviously boost up Aaron Rodgers' fantasy football point total. I feel like this one is going to be an absolute murder at the hand of Aaron Rodgers and friends in Green Bay. I love Rodgers this week at number 3. At number 4, we have Josh Allen at the San Francisco 49ers. Now, there's actually a lot of talk that the San Francisco 49ers are going to end up winning this game. Personally, I do not believe that at all. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to go into San Francisco, not even San Francisco, they're going to go into Arizona because the San Francisco 49ers are not even allowed to play at their home stadium anymore. They're going to go in there and absolutely skull fuck the San Francisco 49ers because the last time this team played in Arizona, the Buffalo Bills lost. So it's a revenge game on the state of Arizona. I like Josh Allen here against the 49ers heavily. At number 5, we have Ryan Tannehill versus the Cleveland Browns. Now, he is the one guy in this top 10 that I feel like is going to end up bending me over this table that I'm recording this video at and just fuck me, not even softly, into the night. It is going to be rough. Like 50 Shades of Grey type shit is what Ryan Tannehill might end up doing to me. But he's going up against the Cleveland Browns. I feel like this one is going to be a close game and a decently high-scoring game at that. I feel like Ryan Tannehill will air the ball out like he did up against the Indianapolis Colts to put us at a very high point total. So I like Ryan Tannehill here in this game. But again, I don't know. He looked really good last week, and he's had some up and down weeks this season, so I'm not completely sold on it, but I do like him at number 5. At number 6, we have Deshaun Watson versus the Indianapolis Colts. And in this one, again, we just saw the Indianapolis Colts get absolutely butt-fucked by Ryan Tannehill, but will that be able to happen again here up against Deshaun Watson? I am not super sure because the Indianapolis Colts defense is no pushover. Ryan Tannehill played amazing last week to be able to elevate their status to beat them. So will Deshaun Watson be able to do that without Will Fuller? I honestly don't know. I have no idea. Without Will Fuller, how good will this team be? I hope they'll be fine. I think he'll be good up against the Indianapolis Colts because he can do it on the ground as well. And the Houston Texans are a bad team, but they're like a good bad team, right? Where they're scrappy in the games. They score points. They're not like a bad team like the Jets where they just literally just cry themselves to sleep every single night. So Deshaun Watson should be fine at number 6. And number 7, we have Justin Herbert, the pervert, versus the New England Deflatriots. This matchup screams to me very high scoring in my opinion, or really a back-to-back affair in which the New England Patriots ultimately win because Anthony Lynn is such a fucking dunce. This man wears that hat, whatever it's called. It's like a dunce hat or something. This guy is so fucking stupid. It is unreal. The fact that this man graduated from high school honestly surprises me because his lack of knowledge is unbelievable. The motherfucker can't count because he doesn't know how to call timeouts. He doesn't know that you shouldn't just run the ball when there's 5 seconds left. You should actually try to throw the ball. He doesn't know that when you call a QB sneak, the offensive line is supposed to actually push forward instead of pulling back like into a pass block. It makes no sense. This guy's an idiot, but Justin Herbert is too good for the idiot, so he will play good enough, but then they will ultimately choke in the end of the game. At number 8, we have the short man, Kyler Murray, versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now, a lot of people are going to be very fucking mad about how Kyler Murray performed last week. And I understand. He didn't score a touchdown. I don't believe he threw an interception. Didn't look great at all. Here up against the Rams, these are two teams that need to win the game. They need to win. The Rams need to win. Kyler Murray is going to play good in this matchup. I don't expect Kenyon Drake to score 2 touchdowns like he did last week, and I expect this to be a relatively high-scoring game, so I like Kyler here at number 8. At number 9, we have Lamar Jackson versus the Dallas Cowboys, as long as Lamar Jackson gets the designation to go on Tuesday up against the Dallas Cowboys, which I assume he will, unless it's going to be Trace McSorley season because he's throwing it on a dime like he ain't even trying. But Lamar Jackson has been pretty solid this season, but nowhere near as good as he was last year. Last year, this man was a fucking world beater in fantasy football, and this year he's had those good games, right? There's rushing the ball a million times, throwing good. Then he has other games where he looks like he fucking like Stevie Wonder in the pocket, like he can't hit anyone. But Lamar Jackson here up against the Dallas Cowboys, this is just too bad of a defense. Lamar Jackson is too good of a player to play outside of the top 12 this week. Wouldn't be surprised if he had a top 5 performance. But again, Lamar Jackson has been iffy this season. At number 10, we have, you like that, Kirk Cousins versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is strictly a play for the matchup. Kirk Cousins is not necessarily the safest quarterback to play in fantasy football due to the fact that the scheme the Minnesota Vikings run, which is very, very, very run heavy. But I believe since Dalvin Cook is going into this game banged up, they're not going to overwork this man to make him potentially be like the number 1 running back on the week, or to give him enough workload to where he could get hurt again. So I think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to air it out up against a bum Jacksonville Jaguars defense with the 2 great wide receivers of Adam Thielen as well as Justin Jefferson to put him inside the top 10 on week number 13. Now on to quarterbacks 11 through 20. So again, if you guys have ended up enjoying this video thus far, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. At number 11, we have Taysom Hill at the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Taysom Hill has for some reason been very good for fantasy football. This motherfucker can't throw the ball very far, doesn't look all that great, but he ends up scoring a bunch of rushing touchdowns up against the Atlanta Falcons. Nick, the Falcons defense shut down Derek Carr last week. When they do something crazy like that, this game screams complete and utter letdown for the Atlanta Falcons, where Taysom Hill absolutely runs a train on him. I love him at quarterback 11 this week up against the Falcons. At number 12, again, we are assuming that Ryan Fitzpatrick suits up and not Tua Tagovailoa. Now, from what I've seen on Twitter, it appears that Tua Tagovailoa may end up playing. It's like a 50-50 because Tua's agent tweeted about how he was excited to see Tua play against the Bengals and how he's flying there. So I don't know. I have no idea. So it's as good of a guess as yours. If Ryan Fitzpatrick plays, I like Ryan Fitzpatrick, and all the other wide receiver options there are Devontae Parker and Gesicki there in Miami. If Fitzpatrick doesn't play, I'm kind of fading away from those guys. Up against the Bengals, though, this is a smash matchup for Ryan Fitzpatrick. I assume he throws at least 2 tutties in this matchup. At number 13, we have Big Ben Roethlisberger versus the Washington football team. Big Ben did not look very good at all up against the Ravens, and I don't even think that's like like a bad statement to say. He just really didn't look that good. He had these touchdowns. He threw an INT early in the game. He just did, like, he had guys open. The guys were dropping the ball. It really wasn't Big Ben's fault, to be honest with you, that he didn't have that productive of a fantasy football day. But this week, up against the Washington football team, I feel like it's going to be a little different because those are like coin flips where the guy fucking drops the ball, right? The other half of the time, that guy catches it and scores a fucking touchdown or something. So I would just go ahead and take that game back and not really hate on Big Ben for that. I think he has a bounce back game here. Quarterback 13 here. Number 14, we have another guy who had a humongous down game last week up against the Atlanta Falcons. Derek Carr at the New York Football Jets this week. And while he played bad against the Falcons, if this motherfucker doesn't light up the New York Football Jets like the tree that we had to watch at 7:30 instead of football on Wednesday, because people like watching trees get lit up, the Derek Carr is going to light up the New York Football Jets without a doubt, in my opinion. Derek Carr had one bad game. People are going to be besmirching him, saying he's not going to be able to be a top 12 quarterback this week, and I have him at top 14, so I guess that's kind of right due to a bit of risk, I feel. But I feel like there's no way he underperforms. I feel like John Gruden goes into New York and bitch slaps Adam Gase straight in the face. So Derek Carr by a zillion here, quarterback 14 on the week. And number 15, we have old man Phillip Rivers at the Houston Texans. Now, Phillip Rivers, this is probably the highest he's been ranked all year for me, strictly because I don't really have a great gauge on this offense, and I don't think anyone does. In some games, they're running the ball 7 million fucking times to where Phillip Rivers won't even get a chance. And then in other games, Rivers is actually able to air it out. Here up against the Houston Texans, I feel like the Texans may be able to crawl into this one to where Rivers is going to have to air the ball out. So I like him as a top 15 quarterback this week. At number 16, we have Jared Goff at the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Jared Goff, you either get one or two of the Goffinata in these games. And to be honest, this could be said about the whole Rams team. They either look like one of the best teams in the NFL, or they look like a bottom feeder in the NFL, like where they just get absolutely butt-fucked, or they're the ones on the opposite side, butt-fucking the shit out of another team. So you really have no idea which one it's going to be on any given Sunday. So that's why I always have a tough time ranking Jared Goff, because up against Arizona, this could be a very high-scoring game in which Jared Goff really lights it up, but it could also be a game where they run the ball a million times, they fold like a fucking table in Buffalo, and someone jumps right through them, and that being the Arizona Cardinals. So, again, quarterback 16 has a lot of upside, also has a lot of downside, because he does have those awful games. At number 17, we have Wham Bam Cam Newton at the Los Angeles Chargers. I feel like the Patriots will keep this game close, but I don't think it's going to be from the passing attack. The way the Patriots win football games is by run. And you want to know who's not going to be able to stop the run? Anthony Lynn's dumbass of the Los Angeles Chargers. This one is going to be a run-heavy game. Damian Harris, James White, lock it up. Great running backs this week. Cam Newton going to be not so hot. At number 18, we have Matt Ryan versus the New Orleans Saints. Now, if Julio Jones ends up suiting up, I would feel a little bit more confident in him, but I feel like at this point, Julio Jones is going to end up missing on Sunday. I don't hate Ryan this week, obviously. There's a lot of quarterbacks behind him, but there's a lot better options than him because I just feel like this one is going to be a closer one, and I don't really think the Atlanta Falcons will do that great up against a tough New Orleans Saints defense. At number 9, we have the Lord of Kissin' Titties, Mitchell Trubisky versus the Detroit Lions. Now, Mitch didn't look bad last week. I'm going to be honest with you. The Detroit Lions defense is shit, but I never will ever in my life feel comfortable enough playing Mitchell Trubisky. A couple of years ago, I played him in fantasy football, and he absolutely railroaded the defense. I think it was actually Bears versus the Rams maybe a couple years ago. I don't know. It was like his rookie year. This guy was built different back then. Now, I'm not too sure how good he'll do up against the Detroit Lions. The Bears' offense is actually a solid core of an offense, but it's just they have such a dumbass of a head coach in Matt Nagy that I just don't trust Mitchell Trubisky. Plus, Mitchell Trubisky makes all types of dumb decisions in the game, so I don't love him this week, but as a streamer in a deeper kind of league, he may be available on your waiver wire, and up against Detroit, he definitely proves some upside. And at number 20, we have the guy at the other side of the ball, Matthew Snapback at the Chicago Bears. I feel like this is a game that Matthew Stafford will be able to potentially win, but again, it seems like Kenny G's not going to suit up again. Matthew Stafford has been iffy this season when you start him, so I don't love him this week up against these Chi-Town Bears. Definitely up against a tougher defense, so thank you guys all so much for watching this video. If you did end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Again, not only is it free, I put out content every single day to help you guys win that 2020 Fantasy Football Championship, so have a great rest of your guys' day. As always, overlaydfs.com. I love you all. Good boy!